What's going on, everybody? It's your man Cleveland Terry, and because I love pain, we're gonna do another transitions video. This is gonna be a more dedicated transitions video. We're gonna talk about how to transition from a faster BPM down to a slower BPM without downloading some sort of a pre-made transition. So we're gonna go through the actual show first, and then I'm gonna talk you through it on the next one. So, straightforward, live, always live, just trying to give you an understanding of what I am doing. So, let's talk a little bit about how we made that really easy but quick transition happen. Let's head over to the first track, which is Treat 'Em Right. Now, that track is really assuming you're already at a higher speed. And this transition can work with a lot of things, but this one, because it is a little bit more of a wordplay, it's going to transition a lot easier. People are going to kind of appreciate the wordplay a little more instead of just taking a beat and then just slowing that beat down into the next beat. This one has a purpose, has a reason for doing it the way we're doing it. So the Treat 'Em Right doesn't really matter. It could literally be any beat that works. That one just has a nice little kind of funky beat to go with the Blow Your Whistle track because that's a real funk beat. So something to kind of keep that feel going. And then after that, that's where all of the stuff takes place. So on the Treat 'Em Right, literally I just have the normal Treat 'Em Right album, assuming that we're going to keep playing that song and we're going into the actual verse and then into the hook. I'm obviously not going to do that here because that's a waste of time. We don't really care about that. So assume we're actually playing the entire Treat 'Em Right song, or at least a verse or two, into the hook. The next one is the Treat 'Em Right instrumental. So that one is used to ride the Blow Your Whistle song. So we've transitioned from the Treat 'Em Right verse into the hook, but I have a hook cue point already established to go from the snare in into the hook, so you don't get that feeling that we're literally just going right into an empty beat or an instrumental. So we have that playing over the instrumental, and then it's going to drop into the verse, which of course no longer has Chep Rock's voice on it, so it's just the instrumental. So then we can let Blow Your Whistle ride on there. Now, let's talk a little bit about Blow Your Whistle because that's the key to all of this. So with Blow Your Whistle, it starts right off the verse. But before we do any of that, we need to set up the song. So let's move over to Blow Your Whistle. Now with Blow Your Whistle, I have two cue points established. First cue point is when he comes in his verse. That's the first cue point. Second cue point is the tambourine sample. Now, just so you know, in case you were confused, on this particular album, that Shake Your Tambourine part, it only plays off of that first one into the break. So if you listen to this, it's literally going into the hook. This is the actual hook of the song. On the next verse, he doesn't say Shake Your Tambourine again. He says a whole different thing. So it will never work if you decide to let that thing ride. Now, you could just drop the Shake Your Tambourine part right on the next kind of bridge into the hook, but it doesn't make as much sense. This is literally just a transition beat. So after we do that, after we've set these cue points up, we have to create a loop. I've already created an actual loop that's already built in. I've saved that loop. So when I go into the Blow Your Whistle part, the first thing I do is activate the loop. Now, I'm using an S9, but most of these mixers have this built in. If you see this thing says loop active right here, when I hit shift and click on the 4-beat loop, it's going to activate my first loop. So I don't have to spend too much time going in here and trying to touch things to make them where I need to go. Then I have to go into pitch play mode. Pitch play mode on the S9 is located in the sampler button, hitting it twice, and then you go into pitch play mode. Now, once I go into pitch play mode, I need to hit the shift button to activate which button is going to be my pitch cue point. So that one is the Blow Your Whistle one. So I'm going to click on that just to make it active. After I do that, I can go back to my cue points. So now when I'm ready to play the song, the transition from Treat 'Em Right into this, I can still mess with my cue points the way I normally do, and it won't affect the tone play. So now I play the track. So I'm letting this thing roll. I'm setting my tambourine ready to load using my knob. I can go to sampler now, tone play. Now I'm gonna start slowing down here. Loaded tambourine. Go to the cue points. Get my load going. And that's it. So the trick is to kind of preload things before you're loading in tracks so you're not having to move around too much to make that happen. I know it's a pretty simple, basic transition, but it's not so much how complicated the transitions are, it's more along the lines of how creative they are. So we're just talking about creative transitions. Now, I created this transition. This is my transition. I encourage you guys to go out and find your own transitions and find your own things that are cool and that are locked to you. But this is a good way to just kind of get some practice, get a feel for your mixer, get a feel for your turntables and whatever else you're using, your controller, just to get a little better at that. So guys, if you found what I did here useful, hit that like button. If you found what I did here really useful, hit that subscribe button. Coronavirus break, we are going to be doing a whole bunch of these types of things, and literally I wake up in the morning, I work on a couple of things, I try new things. If it works out, I bring it right over here and I shoot that video, and hopefully it's as clean or as good as in my mind I think it is. So once again, thank you guys for checking out my videos. It's always a pleasure. If I don't talk to you later, we'll talk soon.